KAPA Hawaiian FM 100.3, 99.1, and online at kaparadio.com. We have the pleasure today of speaking with staff attorney of the Hawaii Disability Rights Center, Jane Preece. Good morning, Jane. Nice to see you today.
Good morning. It's great to be here 6 days before Election Day.
Right?
Yeah, very important election.
Tell us a little bit about the Hawaii Disability Rights Center, especially for our listeners who may not be familiar with your services.
Hawaii Disability Rights Center was created in the 70s. That's when the federal government was creating a lot of legislation to help people with disabilities. And as part of that, they created something called the Protection and Advocacy groups. And there is one in every state. We're the one in Hawaii. So we're statewide, and we are here to help people with disabilities enforce their legal rights.
Beautiful.
Now, any legal rights they have under federal law. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, why is it important for voters with disabilities to participate in the election?
Well, I think it's important for everybody to participate in the election, but people with disabilities, they certainly have their own viewpoints, they have their own experiences, and those viewpoints, experiences need to be heard by our elected representatives. So I think it's real important that they participate, so that their voice is heard. All the legislation that protects their rights was based on a lot of advocacy by a lot of people with disabilities over many, many years.
What are some of the obstacles that voters with disabilities face when trying to vote?
Well, the main obstacle in the past was polling places, obviously. When you had dispersed voting where you had to go to your neighborhood polling place, many of them weren't set up in any way for people with disabilities. They didn't have access. And then you had various volunteers working there that had some higher skills than others. Fortunately, with mail-in voting, many of the obstacles are gone. You have a ballot, you have it for a long time, you have plenty of time to fill it out, find someone you like to help you fill it out if you have problems writing, filling in the box, or you have problems speaking, reading. So you know, it's so much better now, but there's still issues. For instance, if you're blind and you receive a ballot in the mail, you can't read it. So there are still obstacles. There will always be some obstacles. I don't know you can make a perfect way, but we've certainly improved it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, especially with the mail-in voting. What are the potential COVID-19 risks? You know, for in-person voting, what are some of the potential COVID-19 risks?
I would imagine they're the same risks you would have in any kind of group setting. You're going to be going somewhere and interacting with people, and that always places people at risk. I know that the government's handling this. The voter folks at the state have done a lot to really try to make it safer for everyone. Keep the areas clean, keep social distancing, wearing masks. It's probably, you know, I'm not a doctor, but I would assume it's a fairly small risk, but there's always a risk in any kind of social interaction. So,
especially someone with a disability, I'm imagining that doing our mail-in voting is so much safer, so much safer.
Oh yeah, it's just a game changer. It's wonderful. Yeah.
How is this year's voting system different, especially for voters with disabilities? I mean, we kind of covered that with the mail-in voting, but what is new? Is there anything new this year for our friends?
They do have these alternate format ballots, which you can order. And you can, and then the ballots will speak to you. So if you can't read, you can make your decisions online. It's all electronic. So, you know, some people with that type of disability, they have quite sophisticated electronic devices. So there is the alternate ballots. They have to be requested. And frankly, with this close to the election, I wouldn't be delving into that right now. If you've got a ballot at home, I would fill that out, find someone to help you that can fill in the boxes and read it. But that is something to think about, I think, perhaps in the future.
And for future reference, Jade, for future reference, how do we go about, for our voters with disabilities, how could they request an alternate format ballot?
They have to contact the elections office.
Okay. All right.
And they can ask for it. And they should do that, you know, right at the beginning.
Okay, and
not
I'll
wait
post
till
that.
now.
I'll post
Yeah.
that information below here, as far as where you folks can get them right here on Hawaii Island, and there's a phone number too. So I'll share that. What are ballot drop boxes and where are they located? Are they accessible?
I haven't looked at all of them, but there are 8 ballot drop boxes on the Hawaii Islands, and then there are 2 voter service centers. So, yeah, I could say that we've evaluated every single drop box, but I
Hmm.
think the county governments and the city governments are much better about thinking about people with disabilities now than they were 30 years ago. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were mostly accessible. But there are 8, and they are on the website for the state as to where they're
Awesome.
located, and then the 2 service centers.
How can listeners get more information?
You know, the government websites, Google voting in Hawaii, or I want to vote in Hawaii, and you'll find the
Hmm.
local websites. They're very good. They have a lot of
Hmm.
information. They have the service centers, the hours,
Hmm.
the ballot drop boxes, how to get the alternate format ballots. They have information, even an information like a little video about alternate format ballots. So there's a lot of good information online.
Jane, how about if they want to contact you and your staff for more information, how to get more help?
They can call the Hawaii Disability Rights Center, and we encourage them to call us. We are at 808-949-2922 for people that want help. 808-949-2922, extension 207. That's
Awesome. Is there
for
a website?
line. We
Okay,
have a
and website?
website with all that information. With our information, we have special lines for people that are deaf. So that all of that information is on our website, Hawaii Disability Rights Center.
Awesome. HawaiiDisabilityRights.org. That's amazing.
Rightcenter.org. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. Awesome. Again, friends, if you guys want more information, please give them a call and or visit their website. Jane, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your good work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good. Thank you for talking to me. Have a good